Good afternoon, all time in America. Well, guys, do my show I made earlier. No, I'm serious, man. What are the chances you start in that league? Not high. Chances are I'm gonna be a movie star agent, right? Movies is less risky. And it's cheaper too. It's my dream, obviously, right? We are eating hot dogs. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Evan, you being a pro hockey athlete is cool, but it's cooler you being movie star. Yes, being movie star is cool, obviously. Duh. I told you, Ivan, gatekeepers can fuck up your plans, right? They might delay this until you're 50, Ivan. MM. Yeah. So if you see being a pro hockey player as risky, yeah, it's a little bit risky because I have to be productive on the ice. In pro sports, if you want to have a successful career, you have to be productive. You have to be a productive player. Like putting up amazing milestones per season, obviously. Whether you're playing basketball, football, hockey, baseball, you have to be productive as a player. If you want to have an amazing career, that's how it works in pro sports, right? Yeah. I'm a, Whereas movies, it's not as risky. But for movies, I also have to be a pretty good actor. I have to put on a good performance on the screen. But movies is a lot. It's less risky. I just have to be pretty good as an actor and like put on a show. I can steer the ship with VJ in a movie. Yeah, that's how it works, right? Yeah, and movies are cheaper. To start the XHL, I have to put like $33 of my money into the league, man. That's crazy. Well, it's a good investment. I'll make my money back. I'll be pulling in my 100, 90, 80, 70 billion a season in profit. So $33 million investment is a good investment, but like I have to be a star player with the other star players for the league to really make its money. Yeah. Well, if board governors tell you have to be a good player, no. Yeah, I mean, if you're a good player, the league will still make its money, but no one's really going to talk about you because you're not a star player. All the panel talks about are the good player, are the star players. You want to be featured in the magazine and the commercials with the players. You have to be a star player with the franchise star players in your SHL league item. That's what the board guards are going to tell me. That's why I have to train. I have to do intense off-season training, off-ice training, and on-ice training. Especially the on-ice training. I have to really train in that. I have to really train them. Yeah, man. And they're going to tell me, yeah, I recommend you practice with the best hockey players. That way you know how good you are against all these guys. That's how you get better as a player, right? Yeah. Well, I said, yeah. That's what they're going to tell me, obviously. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. These are the best hockey players in the world, right? I told you I should be a star player. I have the genes to be successful in this world. I have the God gene. If I train, I should be able to keep up with them, but I could flop. It's risky, obviously. I'll talk to you all the agile obvious. I can flop as a player. Do I want to take that risk? There's nothing worse than me spending $30 million of my money into the league. First season, I only score like 5 goals. And I have like 20 points. I flopped as a player. The whole world's buzzing about Ivan as a pro athlete. Ivan's not productive on the ice. Yeah, it's glorious seeing me play, but I'm not like productive on the ice. I'm not scoring any goals. I'm not getting assists. Like, that's what I'm saying. You just like, I have no worry about it. You have the genes of God. Yeah, I have the genes of God. I have the genes of God, right? Yeah. Yeah. So don't peak any higher than 32 million. Yeah, don't peak any higher than 32 million for a star player in my league. That's good. That's double the star players make in the NHL. That's a good deal for those guys. Don't peak any higher than 32 million for a star player. And if they're rare talent, then you can pay them a bit more, 35 to even 50. You can pay whatever you want, even 30 if you want. But you can pay them 35 to 50, but don't peak any higher than 50, as the athletes are not worth more than $15 million a season. They're generational talent. But don't pay them $50 million for 10 years, guys. You're going to drain the cap, and they're not worth a $5 million contract. No, pay them $100 million for 2 seasons, and after that you have to bring it down to like maybe 38, 40, 41, 40. 40 is a bit too much. Bring it down to maybe 38, 37. So you have more cap space to pay two good players $6 million. Jackson Sarah. It's not just about the star players. The good players have to get paid too. That's how it works. The important too, they have to get paid. Those guys have bills to pay. They have to get paid too. Those guys. It's not just about star players. Yes, star players are worth the bulk of the money. They're not, but you have to be smart with your money, guys. I recommend don't pay a player even 50. That's a bit too much. Peak at like 40. That's good enough for the generational top players, right? But only pay them that for like 2 seasons max. After that, you have to bring it down. That way, you have more cap space. Yeah. Pay them $40 million for 2 seasons. Then you bring it down to like $32 million for another maybe 2 seasons. And after that, you bring it down to maybe 27, 26 for 2 seasons. And in the final 2 seasons, they make maybe 18, 17 million. The generational top players. In the last 2 years of their contract, that way you have a lot more cap space to pay upcoming star draft picks. Because how it works in the NHL, draft picks usually sign maybe a 2-3 year deal. They make maybe $2.5, $4 million. If they break out in their career, they end up signing their next deal is like a long-term mega deal. That's how it works in the NHL. They'll sign maybe a $3, $4, $5 million deal. They make maybe $3, $4 million. They kill the league and they sign their mega deal. Where they make their 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, $60 million. That's how it works in the NHL. So you have to have room to pay these other players too their money, right? That's how it works. All I'm saying. Yeah. Sarah? So balance of the contract. Yes, guys, balance out the contract. That's how it works. You have to balance out the contract, guys. It's very important. Got some Sarah? Balance out the contract. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to do cleaning tomorrow for $15, $20. So if I can clean the house tomorrow, get my $15, $20, I can get my beer, my smokes, and then I'll have enough. I'll have enough Saturday for like a 20 pack of smokes, and I'm good. And Sunday I get paid, right? I get paid Sunday. I have to wait till 2 to pick up my check, my $100 check, right? Yeah. Ivan, will you raise the cap when the players go on strike? Yes, I will. I can raise it by maybe 12 million. I'm not going to raise it by 40, 80, 100 million. These athletes are not worth that. Why have guys do me? You overpay them, Ivan. They're duping you, man. Yeah. SHO athletes are not worth any more than $32 million max for their. That's good enough with their league revenue. That's what they're worth. And the generational star talents are worth a bit more, but they're not worth like 67 million a season. They're ripping you off, Ivan. They're duping you. If you have a 300 million salary cap, generational talents can demand like 60, 65 million a season. They're not worth that. Excluding their league revenue, they're not worth that. They're ripping you off, man. They're making like 80 something million that season, $77 that season. They're not worth that. They're not worth any more than $50 million, those guys. Yeah. For their salary. But they're only worth that for like a few seasons. They're not worth that ridiculous amount of money for 10 seasons. They're ripping you off. Some players are greedy. They might want like a 40 million. Yeah, I want like my 40 million for 10 seasons of my guys. I'm not gonna have a guys do about that, man. You have to create cap space to pay other players. Can't be selfish. Not just about you guys getting paid. You're not worth that. The GMs have to balance out the deal. That's how it works. That way you have more cap space to pay upcoming draft picks and other good players and average players their salary too. It's not just about the star players. The other players have to get paid too in the league, right? That's how it works. Well, let me guys send you out. Some Sarah. Take a shout out to this. I'll enjoy showing you guys. We have a fun time playing in the league. Oh yeah, I will. Fans are fucking crazy and they're going crazy in the arena. But I'll have a real blast playing in the league if I'm a star player. If you're a star player playing pro sports, it's fun obviously because you're a star player and the fans love you obviously. Whereas if you're playing in the league but you're not a star player, it's not as fun. But if you're a star player, you're having a blast obviously. But playing pro sports is not like amateur sports. Like it's work. Like it's your job, right? It's your job. You're getting paid to play. Be productive on the as a player, obviously. And you have to watch film and you have to train. It's a lot of work. It's your job, right? When you're a pro athlete, you have to be serious with your job, obviously. Yeah. As in all pro leagues, the players have to watch film. They watch film on the teams. That's how it works, obviously. Hockey, basketball, football, especially football, baseball, they watch film on the teams. They study the players and the teams when they watch film. Yeah, I mean, it's work. We train, we have practice, we eat, we gotta watch film. Yeah, like it's work. You gotta work hard, right? That's how it works. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck you, Ari. You're a dick, man. You do that, you're gonna crush us on athletes. I know, but you guys get what you deserve. If I start that league, you guys miss on the opportunity. You left behind. Don't let you guys miss on the out. Yeah. I really think there'll be some players who will want a ridiculous amount of money for like 8, 10 seasons. Oh yeah, there will be some players in the league who are greedy. But yeah, if you really care about winning a championship, you would gladly take pay cuts for your contract. But if you want a ridiculous amount of money for 10 seasons and you don't care about these other players getting paid, that means you don't really care about winning a championship. You only care about yourself. You're being selfish. Yes, it's good to be selfish and look out for yourself. Everyone has to get paid. I get that. If you really want to win a championship, you would be willing to take pay cuts for your contract. But there's some players who actually only care about themselves more than winning championships, and they want like, yeah, I want like my 32 million for 10 seasons, Ivan. I want my 32 million. I know, my guys, you're not worth that. I'm not having guys do like that, and you're gonna drain the cap. Obviously, the GMs can't afford to pay that, guys. The GMs can afford to pay the players that deal, but if they do that, you're gonna drain the cap because you have like another like 2-star players you have to pay. Don't forget that, guys, right? And you have another maybe 12, 13, 10 maybe good players you have to pay. You have maybe 6, 5 average players you have to pay. So it's like you're gonna drain the cap, and you're gonna have very little cap room for other players. You have to balance out, guys. That's work. That's part of the rule, right? For the contracts. Never pay a player like 32 million for 10 years. They're not worth that. Pay them in for 2 years. You pay them maybe 27 million for 2 seasons, and you bring it down to maybe 21 for 2 seasons. In the final season, they make maybe 15, $16 million, where you have more cap space to pay the other players a good deal for their contracts. That's how it works. Now, I'm giving you league revenue, guys. Don't forget that. The star players get league revenue, anywhere from 5 to 20 million. Obviously, I'm gonna tell the board of governors, tell the GMs to not pay a star player any more than maybe 13, 14 million league revenue. If they're generational talent, they can make their 14 plus million. 14 million is enough for a star player for league revenue with their money they're already making. And they're like 3.5 million magazine deal. That's what I'm saying. It's a good deal for the star players. It's more than what making NHL. That's what I'm saying. It's very important. Yeah. But there will be some players who want like, yeah, I want my 32 million for 10 years, Ivan. I'm like, yeah, the fact that you're not willing to take a pay cut means you're greedy and you only care about yourself. You don't care about the other players on your team, obviously, and you don't care about winning championships. You really care about winning championships, you would take a sacrifice, take a pay cut, and that way other players can get paid good money too, who are part of the success of your team. But I told you, I want to have it in the rule. The GMs can't pay a player a ridiculous amount of money for 10 years. You can't do that. You have to balance out the contract. That's how it works. Where you create cap space for your salary cap for the other players. That's how it works. And I'm giving you guys league revenues. Even though you're taking pay cuts, you're still making more money than we made in the NHL, right? Yeah. Star player makes 20 million for 2 seasons, and the GM brings it down to maybe 18 million for 3 seasons. Final season they make $14 million. If they're making 6, 7, 8 million league revenue, they're still making more than what they make in the NHL. They also get their magazine deals, obviously. Yeah. So Ivan, don't peak any higher than 32 million. Yeah, don't peak any higher than 32 million for a star athlete in my league. I don't peak any higher than 14 million for league revenue. Yes, 20 million is the peak, but those are only for the generational guys. The guys who are non-generational star players are not worth 20 million league revenue. They're not worth any more than maybe 13, 14 million league revenue. 14 million is enough, obviously. Yeah. And what some GMs can do to save money, what you can do is the some of the star players they take a bigger pay cut for their base, but they give them more money in league revenue to keep them happy. So if you let's say you have 4 star players in your team, the GMs can't afford to pay that 1 star player $32 million. What that GM can do is pay that player $20 million for maybe 2, 3 seasons. They bring it down to maybe 18 for 3 seasons. The final season they make $50 million, but they can give that player 10, 14 million league revenue. It makes up for it. Got some Sarah? Yeah, I should just say, yeah, tell the World Guards, like, yeah, tell the GMs that if you can't afford to pay a star player like $32 million, you can only afford to pay maybe $20 million a season for the start of their contract. Give them a higher league revenue amount to keep them happy. They made $34 million that season. And with their magazine money, they made like $38 million. They still made a lot more money, a lot of money. That's how it works, right? Yeah. Because there are some players in pro sports who don't really care about their team. They care about winning championships, but they're only looking at themselves. They only care about their money and their own career. They want a huge raise, and they don't care. They don't care about the other players. They just care about themselves getting paid. But if you really care about your team, you would be willing to take pay cuts to make sure other players get paid more money. That way, you can win championships. So that works in pro sports, obviously. Yeah. Tell regardless, look, man, tell the GMs if the players are pissed off that the GM can't afford to pay them like $32 million or only pay them $20 million, give them more money, give them more of the league revenue to keep them happy. Give them maybe 13 million of league revenue. They made 33 million that season. That way you keep them happy. I know your shit. Yeah, do that. That way you keep the players happy. Because some teams, the GMs will not be able to pay the players $32 million because they have maybe 4 star players. Yeah, I can only pay you 20. The best star player, they can only pay him maybe 20, 22 million. Give that player 14 million of league revenue. That player still made $36 million that season. It's more than what they make in the NHL. That's what I'm saying. Oh, hey, we got it. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to go upstairs and get some coffee. Like I said, you guys enjoy my show. My actual show, right? I start feeling weight. I do drink a lot of coffee. Yes, I do. Yeah. Oh, you have nice facilities. Oh, yeah. I'm putting $1 billion towards each of my SHL arenas. NHL, on average, they build each arena for $500 million for each NHL arena. I'm building each arena for like $1 billion. Yeah, on my own money, right? That way you have amazing facilities. I want to have nice offices too. The coaches and the GMs and presidents have like beautiful offices for each team. Obviously, nice fucking like offices, honestly, where they sign the players. Yeah, when you pay the players direct deposit or check, direct deposit's better. You don't have to worry about the players losing their check, and they don't have to worry about the bank freezing their money. That's fair. Yeah. So some GMs will not be able to pay some star players $30 million. No, of course. Some GMs might not be able to pay a star player maybe more than maybe 22 million because they have other players who are demanding a lot of money. But to keep the star player happy, give them a big a nice piece of the league revenue. Give them like a 13-14 million per season for league revenue. But you got to bring it down though, right? Don't pay a player like 14 million of league revenue every season. I recommend you bring it down. The league revenue amount, bring it down too. That way the players don't dupe you, right? Because you're already paying them enough money. Yeah. As even Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid are not worth 20 million. 20 million what of league revenue for 10 years. They're not worth that. You have to bring it down. It's too late for those guys. Don't hate me, guys. I'm saying, but you can pay them 20 million, the generational talent 20 million, and you have to bring it down to maybe 18, 17. That way they don't dupe you. And you have to balance their contract, guys. I don't want these athletes duping me. I'm sorry. Even McDavid and Sidney Crosby are not worth 50 million for 10 years. They're not worth that. $500 million for their base alone, excluding league revenue, they're ripping you off. I mean, you have to balance it out. They get 15 million for 2 seasons. It's too late for those guys. Speaking hypothetically, and after that, you have to bring it down to maybe 40, 38 million around there. I recommend if you pay a player 50 million, a generational talent, bring it down substantially, man. That way you have more cap space. To keep the players happy, you pay them 100 million for 2 seasons. You bring it down to maybe 38, 37. That way you have a 13 million cap space to pay 2-star players $6-7 million. You got some concern for their contract. Or an upcoming draft pick, 4 or 5 million for the start of the season. Yeah. First round draft pick, maybe 5 million for their 4 million for their first season. Got some center. So that works. Yeah. Why do you think the press and the stat keepers and play other guys will want to raise? Yeah, they will. Like, all right, it's not fair, man. You're paying all the players their fucking millions. They're making way more than us. We want to raise them. My guys, there's a reason why the players make more than you guys, man. They're the product on the ice, man. They're much bigger than you guys. You guys are puny small for the players. Play guys either are not worth their millions. They're ripping you off. Don't peak any higher than $70,000 for a play guy with a lot of experience. Start them off at $300K. Don't peak any higher than $750,000 for the play guys. I'm sorry. That's a good paycheck for them, and they get perks like their hotel cost is paid for. They get feeding. You can give those guys get their per dimes too when they're doing play games. They stay at hotels. Their flights paid for, and they get $130 per dime. That's good for those guys. Making $500K as a play guy is a lot of money. For those guys, they're not worth any more than that, man. $70K is what they're worth max. I'm not paying them any more than that, obviously. And the stat keepers and the equipment managers, you can start them off at $80K. And you can give them raises where they're making their 100, 110, 120,000 on a salary. That way they're living a rich, great life for an average person. Like, yeah, boy, we got to say, yeah. Yeah. Sarah? Yeah. There will be some players who want, like, or yeah, they will, obviously. Players are greedy. Some players might want, like, Ivan, man, I want, like, a ridiculous amount of money for, like, every year, Ivan. Like, guys, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to have you guys do me. You're not worth it. You're not worth a $320 million contract, guys, for 10 years. No. You're going to have to take pay cuts. That's how it works. That way you create cap space for the team, man. If you want to win championships, you have to be willing to take pay cuts, and that way other players can get paid. And that's how you win championships, man. You can't be greedy and selfish. Be a selfish player like that. There's nothing worse than being a selfish player who only cares about yourself. You want to get paid all that dough, but you don't care about how much money the other guys make. Yeah. Like, you have to take pay cuts, that way other players can get paid too, and you're on your team, right? That's how it works. Yes, you're the star player, you deserve the bulk of the money, but other players in the team have to get paid too. It's not just about you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ivan, City Rising Arm, they play in your league. Would they be greedy? Oh, of course they would. They probably demand something crazy like $50, $60 million a season. Because those guys are greedy pay. So Ovechkin would probably demand $60 million. They're greedy, those guys. But the GMs would say, no, guys, we can't pay you that. Those guys would peak at $50 million a season. But they're not going to make that if they play in my league, hypothetically speaking, for 10 seasons. They're not worth that. You have to bring it down. $100 million for 2 seasons is enough. Then after that, you got to bring it down to maybe $38 million. That way you have more cap space to pay other players. That's how it works. Yeah. So you could pay a star generational talent $50 million for the first 2 seasons. That's $100 million. Obviously, they get their $15 million in league revenue for those 2 seasons. That's $130 million they made for 2 seasons. And after that, you have to bring it down to maybe 36, 37 million, maybe 36 million, 14 million cap space. That way you have room to pay another good player $10 million. And now coming draft pick $4 million, Carson Zara. And they make maybe 13 million, 12 million league revenue. You have to bring it down. I recommend you bring down the league revenue amount too. The players take pay cuts for their salary and also their league revenue, unless they took a huge pay cut for their salary. Then you can keep the league revenue at the same amount if you want. Because there will be some GMs who sorry, we can only pay you 22 million max. We don't have any more cap space to pay you more. We can give you 13, 14 million league revenue for maybe 5 seasons. You bring it down to 10, that way the players are happy and they get paid. So even though the player made 22 million for maybe 2 seasons, they make 17 million for 3 seasons, and they make maybe 14 million for their final like 2 seasons. If they're making 10 million, 14 million in league revenue, they're still making their 24, 28, 29, $30 million with their combined earnings. More than what me and Chuck. That's why my legal bully and Chuck water. Obviously. Got some Sarah? Yeah. Alright, what about the press? The press, I can start them off at 200K. The press for each team and the main press for the SHL, pay those guys 200K. And the guys who have more experience, you can even pay them $250,000, $270,000 a year. Even 300K, some of the guys who have, the guys who have more experience, you can start them off at even 300K. And the guys who don't have as much experience, they start off at 200K. I can give them maybe $2,000-$3,000 raises per season. That's the raise. I'm not gonna change the raise amount. That's enough for those guys. They're living a great life for that money. The press is not worth their millions, Ivan. They're ripping you off. They're not worth that. Only the players, coaches, GMs, and presidents, and all those guys are worth their millions. The other guys are not worth that. Guys, I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. What about the coaches? Coaches start them off at 5 million and don't peak any higher than 25 million for the coaches. Considering your league's doing what, tens of millions in profit, Ivan, you can peak the coaches at 25 million. But only the really, really good coaches get paid that kind of money. The average coaches will get probably their 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe peak at 10 million. And the better ones make 10 plus, 25 million. That's a good deal for the coaches. You can pay them anywhere from 10, 30,000 dollar bonuses, winning bonuses for each of their games. That's a good deal for those guys. 10,000, 20,000 dollar winning bonuses. And if they clinch division playoffs, they get maybe 250K. They win the conference playoffs, they get maybe 400K. They win the cup, they get $1 million bonus. But they don't get league revenue. The coaches are not worth that. They're not the product on the ice. Only the star players get league revenue. The coaches don't get that. I'm not going to have those guys do me, man. They're not worth any more than that, right? Paying them enough. Go. Yeah, right, man. It's not fair, man. You're making all those fucking billions, man. Like you're 80 billion a season. It's not fair. Like we're getting the peanuts out of it. Yeah, guys, you like what I'm paying you, man. Go play in the NHL and make less money, man. You don't make this in the NHL. I'm still generous enough to make sure you're getting paid good money. You don't make this in the NHL, guys. You're not worth anymore. It's not how you guys dupe me. $300 million salary cap, Ivan. The players are duping you, man. They're not worth that. You're over. If you have a $300 million salary cap, Ivan, good players can now make 14, 15, 16, 17 million in your league. They're not worth that, Ivan. They're ripping you off. You're overpaying them when they're ripping you off. Average players can now make like they're 8 million a season. They're not worth that. 7 million a season. They're not worth that, man. They're duping you. Yeah. I'm going to tell the league, don't pay an average player any more than maybe $3.54 million. 3.5. That's good enough for the average players. The average players are not that productive on the ice. Don't pay those guys any more than $3.5 million. That's good enough for those guys. And the good players don't peak any higher than maybe 11, 12, 13. And for the star players, don't peak any higher than $32 million. Unless they're generational talent like Ovechkin, McDavid, and Crosby. Those guys can make their $35 to $50 million for the start of their contract. But I told you have to balance it out. Don't pay them a ridiculous amount of money for 10 years. They're not worth that, or 8 years. They're not worth that. I'm not going to have this guy do these. I don't like him. Yeah. I'm going to tell the board of governors, tell GMs, I recommend for the star players for their final like 2-3 years in their contract, they gotta take huge pay cuts. That way you have more cap space to pay other players. They have to take a huge pay cut. They start off at maybe 32 million. By their final season, they're making maybe 18, 17, 16 million. That way they have to take a huge pay cut. That way they have more cap space. The GMs have more cap space to pay other players. But if you give them league revenue, they're still making a lot of money. They're 20 plus million. So they're still making more than what they're making AHL. So I'm saying, well, you guys been saying, yeah. Yeah. Fuck you, Ari. It's just for a dick, man. If you do this, man, you're gonna crush us, man. Well, you guys get what you deserve, man. If I saw Pro Hockey League when I'm gay, you miss out on the opportunity to be left behind. There we go. Don't hang up. Yeah. Yeah. Ivan, you think some GMs and coaches who get fired might complain to you? Yeah, they might. Yeah, it's actually funny because they know I own the league. Yo, man, I got fired, man. I had a losing season. I got fired, man. Hey, can you give like the GM a good word for me, man? I'm like, guys, I can't do that. I own the league. I'm maybe the boss, but it's out of my hands. It's not my problem, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You had a losing season for 2 seasons. That you got fired. I know you don't want to be left behind, but I mean, that's not my problem, guys, right? Yeah, not my problem, right? But even the GMs and coaches might complain to me and ask me to give word of my guys. I can't do that, especially the players, right? Yeah. Oh, Ivan, I got released. The coach released me, Ivan. Could you put in a good word in the league or for another team? Please, Ivan, you're the boss, Ivan. My guys, I can't do that. It's out of my hands. I can't be biased with that, man. I gave the league power to do what they want to do. That's out of my hands. Did you train? Yeah, Ivan, I trained, but I didn't train that much, Ivan. I partied there for like 2 months, Ivan. Yeah, I told you to train, man. There's nothing wrong with having fun and partying up, but you gotta and taking a vacation, but you gotta train, guys. This is your job. This is your SHL career job. You have to what? You have to work hard and train, man. That's how it works, right? But all the players in every single team will be working hard because they have a better job than the NHL. They don't want to get released. But unfortunately, some of them will get released, obviously, but they're all working hard. Like, they're training like 4 times a week at the gym, state-of-the-art gym, and everyone's practicing on the ice. I'm practicing with the players. Everyone's training hard because they all want to win a championship and they all want to keep their job. They don't want to go to the NHL. Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't want to go with the fucking gatekeepers in the NHL. I want to work for you, man. The NHL sucks compared to your league, Ivan. They don't want to be left behind. They know the NHL is shit compared to my league. That's why they don't want to go to the NHL. But some players who do get released from my league will end up getting jobs in the NHL. They most likely will be getting jobs in the NHL. But they're going to have to take a huge pay cut, obviously. NHL will pay them maybe $10 million, $8 million a season. I can easily pay them more than what the NHL, right? That's how much good players make in my league. Yeah. Some Sarah. That's how it works, right? Yeah. Yeah. So the SHLPA, if the league goes on strike, they're gonna pitch to the board of governors. Yeah, the league did like 140 billion last season revenue, obviously, and the cap is only at $200 million. We're getting the peanuts. This is a bit too low. We deserve a raise, obviously, and I will be a part of it because I own the league. With a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, guys, I get that. I understand you feel like you're getting the peanuts, guys, but I don't mean to be rude. These athletes are not worth this, guys. I'm not going to raise the cap to $300 million and have these guys dupe me. I will raise the cap to maybe 12 million, but I'm not going to raise it to like 80 or $100 million and have these guys dupe me. Some guys might even push for $400 million. Sorry, I'm like, guys, you're crazy. I'm not going to raise it $400. These athletes are not worth that. Raise the cap to $400 million. Star players can now make $80 million a season, $70 million a season. And good players can make 20 million, 20 million a season, and they're ripping you off. They're not worth that. They're ripping you off, man. Duping you, man. They're draining a lot of billions of your money, Ivan. Like $4 billion of your money they're draining if you do that. Duping you. Yeah, man. I will raise the cap to me by maybe 12, 15 million, but I'm not going to raise it by a ridiculous amount and have these guys dupe me. Obviously. Yeah. Play guys might tell me, all right, man, we want to, like, I deserve like $1 million, $1.5 million. I'm like, no, you don't, man. You're not worth that. You're not worth $1 million to play guy. I'm not these guys do me. I could easily afford it in this pocket change, but these play guys are not worth that. They're not worth $1 million for a season. They're ripping you off. They're not worth any more than maybe $750K, Ivan. The play guys. That's good enough. They don't make an NHL. They make like the $200K, $300K in the NHL. Those guys. 350K NHL they make, those guys, right? Yeah. Sarah? Guys, I know I'm a greedy pig, but I'm generous. I'm not cheap. No, Ivan, man. Like, yeah, you're generous, but you're cheap, Ivan. $200 like we're getting the peanuts, Ivan. Like you're making all those fucking billions. You want to raise Ivan? Like, guys, I will raise the cap. I'm not gonna have you guys do me. You're not worth a $300 salary cap. I'm not gonna have these athletes do me. I'm sorry. That's why you gotta be careful with greedy athletes, Ivan. If you are, just have to edge up properly, and that's why the edge will blow the edge out of the water. Anyways, guys. This is very all guys like the show. It's Iron Man. I'm saying, peace. I should show better than the NHL. Peace out, guys.